Captain Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the RSS Hyperion, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that filled the bridge's main viewport. The research vessel's quantum sensors had picked up something unusual in the Kuiper belt, energy signatures unlike anything they'd encountered before. After 3 decades of deep space exploration, humanity had finally found what they'd been looking for: proof of alien life. But this wasn't the peaceful first contact scenario they'd hoped for. Contact bearing 035, multiple signatures. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station, dark eyes narrowing at the readouts. They're using some kind of gravimetric drive system we've never seen before. Based on their energy output, we're looking at warships, Captain. Big ones. Chen's jaw tightened. The Hyperion was officially a research vessel, but like all ships in the Republic Space Service, she carried state-of-the-art defensive systems. The past century had taught humanity to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. "How many?" she asked, keeping her voice steady. 12 vessels, varying sizes. Largest is approximately 3 kilometers in length. They're in attack formation, Captain. The bridge fell silent. Humanity had spread throughout the solar system, establishing colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan. They'd mastered fusion power, developed quantum computing, and created artificial gravity. But they'd never faced an alien armada before. "Signal the nearest defense fleet," Chen ordered. "Priority 1 alert, and get me a direct HFY linked to Fleet Command." "They're accelerating, Captain," the tactical officer announced. "Multiple weapon systems powering up. Energy signatures suggest directed plasma weapons and some kind of quantum-based torpedoes." Chen allowed herself a grim smile. The aliens clearly expected to catch a primitive civilization unaware. They were about to learn their mistake. "Deploy quantum countermeasures," she commanded. "Bring up the dark energy shields and power up the mass driver arrays. Let's show them what human innovation can do." The Hyperion's experimental systems hummed to life. Dark energy fields wrapped around the ship like a cocoon, while massive electromagnetic accelerators extended from concealed ports along the hull. The vessel might look like a simple research ship, but it carried humanity's most advanced defensive technology. The alien fleet grew larger on the display, their ships sleek and organic-looking, all curves and flowing lines that seemed to defy conventional engineering. Beautiful, but built for war. "They're broadcasting something," communications reported. "Universal Translator is working on it." "Got it." A harsh, clicking voice filled the bridge. "Primitive vessels, power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your immediate destruction. The Nexari Imperium claims this system by right of conquest." Chen's smile grew harder. "Send them our response. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the RSS Hyperion. You have entered Republic space without authorization and demonstrated hostile intent. Power down your weapons and withdraw immediately, or we will be forced to respond with appropriate force." "No response, Captain. They're charging weapons." As expected, Chen straightened her uniform. "All hands, battle stations. Initiate Protocol Omega. Let's remind these Nexari why humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced." The alien ships opened fire first, lances of plasma streaking across space, but they passed harmlessly through the Hyperion's dark energy shields, the exotic matter field absorbing and dispersing the energy. "Target their lead vessel," Chen ordered. "Show them what a primitive human ship can do." The Hyperion's mass drivers roared to life, accelerating smart projectiles to relativistic speeds. The tungsten rounds, each guided by quantum-linked AI systems, struck the alien flagship with devastating precision. The vessel's shields flared and failed, unable to cope with weapons they'd never encountered before. "Direct hits," Tactical reported with satisfaction. "Their shields are down. Detecting multiple hull breaches. HFY link established with Fleet Command," communications announced. "The 6th Fleet is responding. ETA 5 minutes via quantum jump." Chen nodded, watching as the alien fleet regrouped. clearly shocked by the effectiveness of human weapons. Send to all hostile vessels. This was a warning shot. We have reinforcements incoming. This is your final chance to withdraw. The alien ships hesitated, their formation wavering. Then, as one, they began to pull back, their gravimetric drives flaring as they retreated. "They're running," Rodriguez said, disbelief in his voice. "No," Chen corrected him. "They're regrouping. This was just first contact. The real battle hasn't even begun." She turned to face her crew, seeing the same mix of determination and pride on every face. "But when it does, we'll be ready. Humanity didn't come this far to submit to any empire, no matter how advanced they think they are." The Hyperion hung in space, a sentinel against the darkness, while behind it, humanity's defense fleets mobilized. The Nexeri Imperium had made a critical error. They'd assumed that lack of interstellar travel meant lack of advancement. They were about to learn that humans had spent their centuries earthbound perfecting the art of survival. The first strike had been thrown. Now the real war would begin. Admiral Marcus Way watched the tactical hologram with intense focus as hundreds of ships maneuvered through the void between Mars and Jupiter. The Sixth Fleet had arrived in force, but the Nexeri had returned with an armada that dwarfed their initial scouting force. The space around the asteroid belt had become a deadly dance floor, and humanity was about to show they knew all the steps. Status report on the Nexeri fleet formations. Y commanded from the bridge of the RSS Thermopylae, Earth's newest dreadnought. Commander Jackson's hands flew over her haptic interface. "They're maintaining their traditional crescent formation, Admiral. 327 vessels total, divided into attack wings. Their energy signatures suggest they're preparing for another mass plasma volley." Weed nodded, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays. The Nexeri relied on overwhelming force and textbook maneuvers, exactly what he'd expected from an empire that hadn't faced real opposition in centuries. "Deploy the Ghost Protocol," he ordered. "Let's show them why humans never stopped preparing for war even in times of peace." Throughout the human fleet, hundreds of quantum entanglement nodes activated simultaneously. The technology, developed in secret over decades, allowed human ships to coordinate with perfect precision, sharing targeting data and tactical information faster than light itself. "Ghost Protocol active," Jackson confirmed. "All ships reporting ready." The Nexeri fleet surged forward, their organic-looking vessels moving in perfect synchronization, their plasma weapons charged, preparing to overwhelm human defenses through sheer volume of fire. Way allowed himself a small smile. "Execute Maneuver Theta 7. The human fleet burst into action. Instead of maintaining traditional battle lines, each vessel activated its dark energy drive in a precisely calculated sequence. The result was spectacular. The entire fleet seemed to fragment and dissolve, individual ships appearing to be in multiple locations simultaneously. Through their quantum entanglement network, Y could sense the confusion rippling through the Nexeri command. Their sensors couldn't distinguish between the real human ships and their quantum echoes, making effective targeting impossible. "Incoming transmission from the Nexeri flagship," communications reported. "Put it through," Way ordered. A holographic image materialized, a tall, insectoid being with iridescent carapace and compound eyes. "This is High Commander Vextrix of the Nexeri Imperium. Your deception techniques are impressive, but futile. Surrender now, and we will show mercy." Way met the alien's gaze steadily. "This is Admiral Marcus Way of the Republic Space Service. We don't surrender to bullies, no matter how big their fleet is. But we're willing to negotiate if you withdraw your forces." Negotiate? With primitives who only recently achieved spaceflight. Vextrix's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Your species is young and arrogant. You must be taught your place." "Young doesn't mean weak," Y countered. "And sometimes the best innovations come from necessity. Vector strike teams, execute Operation Thunderbolt." Hidden within the asteroid belt, hundreds of automated drone swarms activated. Each drone was barely larger than a human hand, powered by miniaturized fusion reactors and controlled by quantum AI. They streamed toward the Nexari fleet like a metal rain, their dark energy shields making them nearly invisible to conventional sensors. Multiple small contacts. A Nexari voice shouted in the background of the transmission. "They're breaching our shields." The drones, designed specifically to counter the Nexari's gravimetric shield technology, passed through their defenses like they didn't exist. Once inside, they attached themselves to key systems and began transmitting targeting data to the human fleet. "All ships, fire on designated coordinates," Y commanded. "Show them what human precision looks like." The human fleet's mass drivers spoke as one. Relativistic rounds struck the Nexari vessels exactly where their shields were weakest, guided by real-time data from the infiltration drones. Ships began to die, their beautiful organic forms split apart by humanity's engineered fury. Impossible. Vectrix rage. Your weapons, your tactics, how can you have developed such technology without interstellar travel? Because we learned long ago that the greatest innovations come from limitations, Wei explained calmly. While you were conquering the stars, we were perfecting the art of defending our home. Now, I'll make this offer one last time. Withdraw your forces, and let's talk about peace. The Nexari fleet was in disarray, their perfect formations shattered by weapons and tactics they'd never encountered before. Nearly a third of their ships were damaged or destroyed, while the human fleet remained largely intact, their quantum echoes making it impossible to determine their true losses. Vectrix's compound eyes studied Wei for a long moment. Perhaps there is wisdom in discussion. Stand down all weapons. We will withdraw to neutral space and establish diplomatic channels. Wei nodded, but kept his fleet's weapons trained on the Nexari ships. A wise decision, High Commander. Sometimes the strongest empires are those that know when to make allies instead of enemies. As the Nexari fleet began their withdrawal, Wei turned to his crew. Well done, everyone. But stay alert, this is just the beginning. They'll be back, and next time they'll be ready for our tricks. Let them come, Commander Jackson said firmly. We'll have new tricks ready. Wei smiled. That was humanity's greatest strength. Not their weapons or technology, but their endless capacity to adapt and innovate. The Nexari had started this dance thinking they were the masters of space warfare. Now they were learning that sometimes the best dancers were those who had practiced in a smaller room, perfecting every step until it was flawless. The celestial dance was far from over, but humanity had shown they could match the rhythm of the stars themselves. Dr. Maya Patel stood in the neutral space station's conference room, studying the holographic display of Nexari cultural data. After 2 weeks of tense negotiations, both sides had agreed to exchange information about their civilizations. As Earth's leading xenoanthropologist, she had been chosen to lead the human diplomatic team. The station itself was a marvel of compromise, a hybrid of human quantum engineering and Nexari biotechnology. Constructed in orbit around Ceres. Through its transparent quantum crystalline walls, she could see both fleets maintaining their cautious distance, weapons powered down but ready. Fascinating, she muttered, examining the complex social hierarchies of Nexari society. They literally evolved from hive insects, but developed individual consciousness through technological augmentation. Correct, Dr. Patel. The voice came from Six Terra, the Nexari cultural attaché who had been assigned to work with her, the tall insectoid being moved with fluid grace as she approached the display. Just as your species evolved from pack-hunting primates, which explains much about your unexpected capabilities. Maya turned to face her counterpart. Unlike High Commander Vectrix's warrior caste, Six Terra's carapace was adorned with intricate bioluminescent patterns that marked her as a scholar. You're still trying to understand how we developed our technology without becoming a spacefaring civilization first. It defies all known patterns of species development. Six Terra admitted, her antennae twitching in what Maya had learned was a sign of intellectual curiosity. The Nexari Imperium has encountered thousands of species, All of them either developed interstellar travel before advanced defensive technology, or remained primitive. Your species is unique. Maya smiled. We had good reasons to focus on defense. Our history is filled with conflicts between nations, ideologies, and cultures. Each war drove innovation, pushed us to develop better technology. When we finally unified as a species, we took those lessons to heart. But why continue developing weapons once you achieved peace? Because we looked at the stars and knew we weren't alone. Maya gestured to the fleet outside. We hoped for peaceful first contact, but we prepared for the alternative. Not out of aggression, but survival instinct. 6 Terra moved closer to the holographic display, studying the history of human warfare. Your species turned countless potential extinctions into opportunities for advancement. The climate crisis led to fusion power. The asteroid impact of 2047 spawned your gravity manipulation technology. Even the AI wars resulted in your quantum computing breakthroughs. Adversity breeds innovation, Maya agreed. But what truly makes humans unique isn't our technology, it's our diversity of thought. We never stop questioning, never stop looking for new solutions. This explains why our standard Conquest protocols failed, 6 Terra noted. We assumed your defense technology would follow conventional patterns. Instead, each human ship commander employed different tactics, different combinations of weapons. There was no pattern to predict. Maya nodded. Humanity's greatest strength is our adaptability. We don't just overcome challenges. We learn from them, incorporate those lessons into our civilization's DNA. Yet you claim to desire peace. 6 Terra's compound eyes studied Maya intently. How can a species so focused on defensive innovation truly want peaceful coexistence? Because we understand the cost of war, Maya replied softly. Every advance in our military technology came from loss, from sacrifice. We don't glorify conflict. We prepare for it so we can prevent it. The same innovation that created our weapons also gave us clean energy, medical breakthroughs, and the ability to terraform Mars. The Nexari scholar was quiet for a long moment, her antennae moving in complex patterns as she processed this information. Perhaps the Imperium has become too rigid in its thinking. We assumed technological advancement followed a fixed path. Your species proves otherwise. That's why this dialogue is so important, Maya said earnestly. We can learn from each other. Your biotechnology, combined with our quantum engineering. We could revolutionize both our civilizations. The warrior caste will resist change, 6 Terra warned. They believe strength comes from conquest, not cooperation. Then show them how cooperation makes us stronger. Maya brought up a new hologram, showing the hybrid technology of the station they stood in. This station is more advanced than anything either of our species could have built alone. Imagine what else we could achieve together. Outside the station, a human supply ship was docking, its crew working alongside Nexari engineers to maintain the hybrid systems. Despite their radical differences in biology and culture, they were finding ways to communicate, to collaborate. Your arguments are compelling, 6 Terra admitted. I will bring these observations to the High Council. Perhaps it is time for the Imperium to evolve beyond conquest. Maya watched the aliens and humans working together outside. That's another human trait you should understand. We're stubborn optimists. No matter how dark things get, we believe we can find a way forward. Usually, we do. The station continued its orbit around Ceres, a symbol of what was possible when species chose to understand rather than destroy each other. The fleets remained vigilant, but with each passing day, more ships were converting from combat positions to joint research missions. Understanding was replacing fear. Innovation was being turned toward cooperation instead of conflict. It wasn't peace yet, but it was a beginning. And humans were very, very good at turning beginnings into revolutions. The emergency alert shattered 3 months of cautious peace. Lieutenant Commander James O'Connor was in the middle of a joint training exercise with Nexari engineers when every quantum comm system in the solar system lit up simultaneously. Multiple unidentified contacts emerging from FTL at the edge of the system, the RSS Hyperion's AI reported. Energy signatures don't match any known configuration, Nexari or human. On the bridge of the Hyperion, now serving as the command center for joint operations, Captain Chen shared a look with High Commander Vextrix. The former adversaries had developed an uneasy respect during their weeks working together. The energy readings are massive. Vextrix's mandibles clicked anxiously. Larger than anything in the Imperial database. These vessels, they're not merely ships. They're planet killers. The tactical display showed the truth of his words. 12 massive vessels, each nearly 20 kilometers long, were decelerating toward the inner solar system. Their hull configurations seemed to defy physics, geometric patterns that hurt the eye to look at directly. They're broadcasting. Communications announced. The message that followed was neither audio nor video, but rather a direct neural transmission that somehow bypassed all known communication protocols. Organic life is inefficient. Your technological and biological distinctivities will be analyzed and rapurposed. Resistance is irrelevant. The harvesters, Vextrix whispered, his usual confidence shaken. We thought they were just legends, stories to frighten larvae. A machine race that consumes civilizations, breaking them down to their component elements to fuel their eternal expansion. Chen's jaw set firmly. Well, they haven't met humans yet. All ships, battle stations, implement Joint Defense Protocol Alpha. The combined human Nexari fleet moved with practiced precision, forming up into hybrid battle groups that complemented each other's strengths. Human quantum shields interlocked with Nexari gravimetric fields, creating layered defenses unlike anything either species had achieved alone. They're launching some kind of probe, Tactical reported. It's interfacing with our systems somehow, breaking through our quantum encryption like it isn't even there. O'Connor's hands flew over his console as the alien code began infiltrating their networks. Then he smiled. No, they're not breaking our encryption. They're trying to use it against us, and that gives me an idea. He turned to the Nexari cybernetics expert beside him. Your biotechnology can interface directly with computer systems, right? What if we combine that with our quantum entanglement protocols? Create a feedback loop. The Nexari's compound eyes widened in understanding. Yes, their superior technology would actually work against them. The more they try to infiltrate our systems, the more vulnerable they become to counterattack. O'Connor finished. Captain, Commander, request permission to implement Emergency Protocol Omega-7. Chen looked at Vextrix, who nodded sharply. Do it. Throughout the fleet, human quantum systems merged with Nexari biotechnology in ways their designers had never intended. O'Connor's fingers danced across his console, weaving a trap from strands of code and consciousness. The harvester ships pressed their attack, energy weapons unlike anything either species had seen before lancing out toward the combined fleet. But the hybrid shields held, barely, buying precious seconds. Now, O'Connor shouted. The trap sprung. As the harvesters attempted to infiltrate the fleet's systems, they found themselves caught in a quantum biological feedback loop. Their impossibly advanced AI encountered something they'd never faced before. The merged consciousness of two distinct species operating in perfect synchronization through technology that defied their analysis. The result was spectacular. Harvester ships began to stumble, their perfect formation breaking apart as conflicting commands tore through their networks. Some of their weapons turned on each other, their targeting systems corrupted by the hybrid virus. All ships, concentrate fire on their command and control nodes, Chen ordered. Show these machines what organic creativity can do. The combined fleet struck as one. Human mass drivers and quantum torpedoes slammed into the same targets as Nexari plasma lances and gravimetric disruptors. Wounds opened in the massive ship's impossible geometries, leaking strange energies into space. "It's working," O'Connor exulted. "Their adaptive algorithms can't handle the chaos of our combined attacks. Every time they develop a countermeasure for one approach, we hit them with something completely different." The harvesters began to retreat, their perfect coordination shattered by the unpredictability of their organic opponents. As they fled back toward the system's edge, their final transmission echoed through the fleet's computers. Analysis error. Organic. ANEFF. Science produces unexpected results. Tactical withdraw required. Threat level maximum. In the aftermath, humans and Nexari worked side by side to repair their ships and heal their wounded. The barriers between their species seemed to have dissolved in the heat of shared combat. "Perhaps," Vextrix said quietly to Chen, "we were both fortunate that our first contact ended in understanding rather than destruction. Against threats like the harvesters, divided species cannot stand." Chen nodded, watching human and Nexari crews exchanging repair techniques and battle stories. Unity through diversity. It's an old human concept, but it seems to apply to interspecies relations too. "The harvesters will return," O'Connor warned, looking up from his damage reports. "Let them come," Chen replied. "Every time they do, they'll find us stronger, more integrated, more innovative. That's what organic life does. We grow, we adapt, we overcome. Together." The combined fleet regrouped around Ceres, no longer separated into human and Nexari sections. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger, not through superior technology or numbers, but through the one thing machines could never truly replicate: the chaotic, beautiful, inefficient creativity of organic life. 1 year after the Harvester incursion, the Sol system had transformed. The joint human-Nexari station above Ceres had grown into a sprawling metropolis of quantum crystalline towers and organic architecture, a physical embodiment of the alliance between two formerly hostile species. Admiral Wei stood in the station's central command center, now designated Unity Hub, watching ships move through the busy space lanes. Human vessels with their angular, utilitarian designs flew in formation with the organic curves of Nexari crafts. Each now carried hybrid technology developed through their combined research efforts. The latest test results from Jupiter Station are impressive, Dr. Maya Patel reported, bringing up a holographic display. Next to her, 6 Terra's antennae moved in patterns of excitement as the data scrolled past. The merger of human quantum shielding with Nexari biotech has increased defensive capabilities by 300%. And offensive capabilities? High Commander Vextrix asked, his warrior's instincts still sharp despite months of peace. "Even better," Captain Chen answered, stepping into the command center. The Hyperion's captain had become the natural choice to lead the Joint Fleet's tactical division. The new hybrid weapons platforms are testing off the charts, but more importantly, we're seeing unprecedented levels of innovation from both species. She gestured to a nearby workstation where human and Nexari engineers worked side by side, their differences forgotten in their shared passion for discovery. "Every day, someone comes up with a new way to combine our technologies, our thinking styles. We're not just adding our strengths together, we're multiplying them." The harvesters won't expect this level of advancement, we noted with satisfaction. When they return, they'll find a very different solar system than the one they fled. "If they return," Vextrix corrected. "Our long-range sensors haven't detected any sign of them since the battle." "They'll be back," Lieutenant Commander O'Connor said grimly, joining the conversation. His work on the hybrid cyber warfare systems had earned him rapid promotion. Machines like that don't give up. They adapt, analyze, improve, just like we do. "Then we'll be ready," Chen declared. "Every day we grow stronger. The Jupiter shipyards are producing vessels that neither of our species could have imagined a year ago." The Mars research facilities are pushing the boundaries of what's possible when you combine human intuition with necessary precision. And it's not just military advancement, Maya added eagerly. The medical applications alone are revolutionary. Human genetic engineering combined with necessary biotechnology. We're curing diseases that plagued both our species for generations. Average lifespan for both humans and necessary has increased by decades in just the past year. 6 Terra's bioluminescent patterns shifted in what Maya had learned was amusement. And to think, a year ago the Imperium considered humans primitive because they hadn't achieved interstellar flight. A mistake we won't make again, Vextrix acknowledged. You taught us that true advancement isn't measured by how far you can travel, but by how well you can innovate within your limitations. And you taught us that sometimes the best way to overcome those limitations is to reach out to others. White responded. Speaking of which, how goes the construction of the first human necessary joint colony on Ganymede? Ahead of schedule, Chen reported proudly. The hybrid environmental systems are exceeding all expectations. We're looking at a self-sustaining population of both species within 5 years. And the deep space program? O'Connor asked. The first prototype ships are ready, Wei confirmed. Human quantum drive technology combined with necessary gravimetric fields. Conservative estimates suggest they'll be capable of reaching Alpha Centauri in under a month. So humanity finally reaches the stars. Maya mused, not through conquest or competition, but through cooperation. As it should be, 6 Terra agreed. The Imperium is learning this lesson too. Already, other species are approaching us, seeking alliance rather than submission. The old way of expansion through conquest is giving way to something new. Outside the command center's windows, a massive ship took shape in the construction yards, the first of a new class of exploration vessels. Its design was neither human nor necessary, but something entirely new, born from the combined dreams of 2 species who had learned to see past their differences. The harvesters thought organic life was inefficient, O'Connor reflected. They saw our diversity as weakness, our emotions as flaws. They couldn't understand that these very things make us stronger. Because machines can only iterate on what they know, Chen added. But life creates. It dreams. It imagines possibilities that shouldn't exist, then finds ways to make them real. Wei smiled as he watched another group of human and necessary cadets heading to their joint training session. And that's why we'll win, in the end. Not because we're stronger or more advanced, but because we can do something the harvesters never will. What's that? Vextrix asked. Grow beyond what we were meant to be, Wei answered. Every limitation we face becomes an opportunity. Every challenge makes us stronger. And now that we face those challenges together, the possibilities are endless. Maya finished. The sun rose over Earth's horizon, its light reflecting off the quantum crystalline spires of the Unity Hub. In that light, it was impossible to tell where human technology ended and necessary biotechnology began, just as it should be. The future stretched out before them, full of challenges and opportunities, but they would face it together, 2 species united not by fear or necessity, but by the shared understanding that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. And whatever threats awaited them in the depths of space, they would face them as one, stronger together than they ever could have been apart.